Okay, hi everyone. We're back with part two, just talking to Santos from Old Man Gloom. I'll just wait for him to come back. Alright, just turn that down. Hey again. Okay, let's give him a couple of minutes. Here he is.
Hi.
Hello.
I did all my farting and burping during that break, so I'm good.
Yeah, got it all out with the
Yeah,
pause.
exactly.
No, it just made me laugh that I was just thinking how actually hilariously humorous you are, and then the funniest thing is that you're in a band called Old Man Gloom.
Yeah, it's very appropriate. But we were a really serious band, so it's
You're very serious.
yeah,
Well, I
yeah, we
mean, you
don't.
guys are you guys are I mean, there's no lack of extreme talent there. I mean, you've got people from Cave In, Mutoid Man, Converge, Sumac, Isis,
Yeah.
there's a lot of good talent all pushed into one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was very intimidating for me joining that band. Or starting that band rather.
Yeah. How did it What was the beginning? What was that like?
Well, Aaron and I grew up together in New Mexico. So we've known each other since we were probably 16, something like that. We met in high school. So sorry, that was a burp. I knew it was coming, guys. I tried to get it out. I tried to fucking get it all out, but Uh, so we met when we were like 16 in high school, and we were just friends. We hung out a lot, but then Aaron went to college in Boston, and he would come home during the summers, and we did music a few times when he came home. And he came home one summer, it was like the third time he came home, and I was playing a show with these guys that I was filling in for, and he saw me play, and he was like, "Oh, you can kind of play drums now. You're better now." Because at that point, I mean, like I told you, I started when I was like 18. We started Old Man Gloom when I was 21, so I'd only been playing
Yeah,
for 3 years at that point. So I
yeah.
was pretty shitty. Um, but Aaron was like, he was like, "Yeah, let's do something." And so he came over. I remember he came over to the house I was living in. There's this French Canadian board game called Crokinole. Are you guys familiar with Crokinole?
No.
There's not much of a reason to tell you about it except that I really like it. It's like shuffleboard kind of, except you flick these little wood pucks across
Hmm.
a board, and you're trying to flick your opponent's pieces off the board. It's kind of like
Right.
darts, and you want to
Yeah,
get them in the
yeah, yeah,
middle. Anyway, we were really obsessed with this game, and so we were playing Crokinole for hours and hours, and talking about what we wanted the band to be. And we basically fully formed and realized like exactly what we wanted Old Man Gloom to be, just sitting around and playing Crokinole. And Aaron, this is not, there's no exaggeration in any of this, but Aaron was like, "I'm going to go home and I'm going to write this record." And I was like, "Okay." He was like, "I'll come back in a few hours and play some demos for you, but I have an idea of what I want." He went
Wow.
home and he literally wrote the entire first record in like 2 or 3 hours and demoed them, like made
Wow.
full guitar demos of them. And he brought it back on cassette, and we sat in his car and we listened to it, and we didn't change anything. That was it. That's Meditations in B. So
Yeah.
we practiced it for 2 days, like learned the songs for 2 days, and then we went to the studio in Santa Fe and we booked it for one day, and we tracked and mixed the whole record in 12 hours. Like we had one 12-hour session, and we
Yeah.
recorded and mixed the whole thing. Like we learned it, he wrote it in an afternoon, we rehearsed it for two
Amazing.
days, and then we fucking recorded it and mixed it in 12 hours. And so that was basically it. So then the summer ended, and Aaron went back to Boston. And before he left, he was living with Jeff from ISIS, and Jeff was moving out, and Aaron was like, "Hey, you're not doing anything in Santa Fe. If you want to take Jeff's room at Hydra Head and move to Boston, we can keep doing Old Man Gloom."
Yeah.
And I sold all my Misfits, Danzig, and Samhain records on eBay, which was very new at the time. eBay was this was 99, so or it was like 98 or 99,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
eBay was brand new, and I was just like, I had my roommate do it, and I made enough money to like buy a train ticket and move to Boston,
Oh my
and
God,
that
but
was
were
it.
you so sad? Did you keep anything from?
No, I didn't. I
Oh,
it was it like now it's kind of sad because I had everything.
but I guess the ends, yeah, like it
Yeah, like it's bitter, you
means
know, it's a little
making.
bittersweet because it's like if I hadn't done that, I'd
Mm.
probably still be in Santa Fe. I'd probably be married to someone I hate, and I'd probably have like three awful kids, and I'd probably be like working for the state, you know. I would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
depressed as fuck if I was still living in Santa Fe and never
yeah,
left.
yeah.
No offense to my friends still living in Santa Fe. I love you all. You're doing great. I love your lives. I'm jealous. Mine's way better, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so I moved to yeah, there was one I had a Sam Hain record that was only one of 15 ever made, and I sold
Oh
that.
wow.
I know that one is kind of like I wish I still had that one, but
Yeah.
whatever. So anyway, I just moved to Boston, and right away Nate wanted to join. Old Man Aaron had asked Nate to join. Nate was stoked on it, and I was a big, you know, Jesuit fan at that point.
Yeah.
Um, so I was really stoked about that. And then our friend Luke joined doing electronics, and Luke was just, I mean, he's the best. He was just our dearest friend, so we were stoked to have him involved. And then Caleb asked us if he could join. I mean, we weren't going to have bass, it was just going to be guitars and drums. And Caleb
Yeah.
asked if he could be an Old Man Gloom. And of course, we were all just like, yeah, of course you can be an Old Man Gloom. Because
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
all just huge Caven fans and
Yeah.
huge Caleb fans. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that was basically the beginning of it.
That's such a good, it's a cool story.
Yeah. Oh, the one thing I left out, which I've told this story a bunch of times, but Aaron and
Yeah.
I that afternoon we formulated Old Man Gloom. We were walking downtown and we saw a guy with a monkey in a diaper, like just hanging out in a park. He had like a
Yeah.
pet spider monkey in a fucking diaper, and we were just so blown away by this. And that's basically how the whole monkey theme happened, just by seeing this monkey in Santa Fe.
Monkey.
Yeah.
So that's yeah, like that's just like just you two really just did that whole
Yeah.
album.
Yeah. It was just us. I
Wow. And
think we
then
I think we share the money with everybody else, which I don't think is right. I'm actually going to talk to Aaron about that. We really, even on tour, I feel like that's not fair. So anyway, we're going to work on that.
but then of course then you had Seminole 2 come
Yep.
out. So was that
2 and 3 came
one
out at the same time.
yep.
Yep.
And so with that one, was that more of now the whole band coming together?
Yeah, that was the first time or the first and only time we wrote songs together. You know,
Mm.
that was like Aaron wrote Meditations on his own, and then Seminar 2 and 3, Caleb, Nate, Luke, Aaron, and I actually in a practice space every week, like a normal band writing songs.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's interesting to think about how those songs coming together in an organic way. Because anything after that, Christmas, No, The Apes, and these records, they none of them were written in a room together. They were all just kind of like ideas people had and kind of just showing each other like, hey, this is the song and that's it.
Yeah.
But those Seminar 2 and 3, those were the ones where we were like really like changing parts and like, hey, what about this? And what can come after that? And like normal band shit.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones we did in a like actual organic band way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So then when
I don't
you
know. It's hard to
excuse me.
say if it's like if it's they definitely have a different vibe, but I don't know if it's better or worse or just different.
Yeah, yeah. Because there's like, I guess then when you come to the later ones, how does that, is there any, like, how does that work when someone says, okay, this, and it's done? And so if someone else is like, I don't really like that, like, is there a, any, kind of leanway in that? Or is it like, no, everyone just
No,
hands in their space, everyone hands in what they've done, and that's what is gonna happen?
that's it. It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
it is what it is. And I hate that saying, but
yeah.
it really, there's a huge amount of trust that goes into Old Man Gloom. And
Mm.
like when Aaron brings a song to us, it does not make any fucking sense. There's no, it does, it, I've talked about this before too, but I don't know what the songs are going to sound like until I get the record,
Yeah.
basically. Because we'll go into the studio and it'll just be like Aaron playing like one riff, like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, oh, a Simi a Day. I don't know if you know that song,
Mhm.
but it's just one riff. It's just, and that's the whole song. And so Aaron is telling me, like, this is the song. And I'm like, so what's the next thing? And he's like, there is no next thing. This is the song. And so I just have to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is the song. It's just for 3.5 minutes. And he's like, yeah. So I don't want to fight him, or I just have been doing it with him for so long that I'm like, okay, man, all right. And I just play what I think makes sense. And even Kurt, who records us, there's many moments where he'll just be like, are you guys fucking with me? Is this real? Like, he'll turn around and, like, while Aaron is tracking his guitars, he'll turn around and be like, is he serious right now? And we just have to be like, Kurt, this is it. This is actually the song. But then what happens is we lay the foundation down, we lay the bones down. Aaron takes it home, and then he throws everything else on top of it. And then you
Yeah.
get it back. And a song like Simi a Day, that's just an instrumental, it's so layered and complex and cool and beautiful. But
Yeah.
when I recorded it, all it was and that's it. That's all I ever heard,
Yeah,
and
yeah. And so for you then, how do you when you get given that, like how did you go, what am I gonna what am I gonna play?
I
Am I
just have
gonna
to I just have to, basically it's just like in the room, I just have to be like, so what do you want? And he'll say, I want something real gorilla-y and just, bare bones. And I'll be like, okay. I mean, that's why it's funny, but that's why my drums kind of sound the way they do, is because I don't know what the fucking songs are when I'm recording them.
when you're
And
doing
I've
them, yeah.
yeah, like every song on both of the new records, I didn't know those songs until 2 days before we recorded them. And so I get 2 days, these ones were, a little bit more rushed than the apes, but it's like 2 or 3 days. I just have to get familiar with the riffs, and then I go into the studio. That's it. So everything I'm playing on those records is just like me almost flying off the rails and not knowing the songs the whole time, and me just being like, okay, that was bad, back it up, I'll drop in right there. So none of those songs were played all the way through at
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
pieces, because I don't know them, I don't know what they sound. And even after I track them that day, I don't know what the fuck they're going to sound like until several months later, when they send me the songs after they do all the overdubs and the vocals and the electronics. Then I get it back and I'm like, oh, this is good. I didn't think this was good.
Yeah, because you kind of have you have nothing to refer to really.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so
I
you
mean,
can't
like,
see
I
it.
don't know if
Like,
you've listened to Calling You Home on the new record. It's like, maybe it's probably my favorite record, or my favorite
mm,
song on the records.
on the
And it's
record,
it's
yeah.
a beautiful song. It's it's amazing. But all I knew of that song was jun, 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 jun. That's it. That's all I knew, because all the guitar stuff that Aaron does at the beginning, that crazy like free jazz solo that leads in the song, I didn't hear that until mixing. I didn't hear the vocals until mixing. I didn't hear any of it. So that song, in my mind, was just, again, it was like Simi a Day. It was just one riff and super boring and long. And I was like, well, this is garbage. This is, but then I got it back, and I like, I have the same experience that you guys have, where I don't
Yeah.
know what it's going to sound like. And I get the rough mixes back, and I fucking put headphones on, and I seriously like cried when I heard that song, because it's like, I did that? We did that? And
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's a total fucking mystery to me until I get it sent to me.
That's amazing. That's such a, yeah, that's an amazing. I've never heard anyone else work like that. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just
And so it's
trust,
like a brand new, so every time you kind of, you're just playing on blind faith and then
totally.
it comes to you and you're like, whoa, that's what
Yeah.
finished is. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea if what I'm playing is going to work, or it's like a normal band. They write something and then they go on tour and they play it on tour and then they record it, and there's this very linear way to do music, and we just don't do it that way. And it's just all trust. I have to trust that Aaron knows what the fuck he's doing. I have to trust that Nate knows what he's doing. I have to trust that
Mm.
Steve knows what he's doing, and they've never let me down. There's
Yeah.
never that trust has never been broken. So,
Yeah. So when it
yeah.
comes to I guess the orchestrating it all together, is that Aaron? Like
Uh,
once everyone's done their bits, who?
no, it's basically it's like whoever wrote the song. So
Right.
like Calling You Home was a Nate song.
Hmm.
I mean Aaron and Nate definitely, and Caleb and Steve, I mean too, they all definitely play off of each other. So Aaron will get Calling You Home from Nate after Nate does his stuff, and then he'll get to do his stuff back and send it back. And a lot of times what Aaron does is so fucking crazy that like we get it back and it's just a completely different thing in a really good way.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's Aaron definitely orchestrates all the electronics, so all the segues and the all the noise and stuff. That's all him.
Mm.
And on these records actually is the first time where we've had a little bit of tension about some of the noise
Yeah.
in mixing. I don't know. I hope the guys don't get bummed that I talk about this, but whatever. What don't they get bummed about that I talk about? I fucking just never shut up. So that's why am I even bringing it up? Uh, but this on these records in particular, this was the first time where the vision of the noise in just a few minor spots, people were like, "Whoa, that's a little over the top."
Yeah.
And again, it was trust. And Aaron conceded on a couple things, and he wouldn't budge on a couple things. There's a song called "Heel to Toe," and it's funny because it's come out in a couple of the reviews that there's this really sharp feedback in that song,
Hmm.
and it was too much for Nate was like,
Because
that's really distracting, that's really intense, and Aaron was like, I only like it at that volume. Like if it isn't that way, then I'd rather just take it out, and that's fine too. But and we left it in because again, we all trust each other, and Aaron's vision for that noise in that song was really, he was really direct about what he wanted, and I love it. But it is fucking weird and grating and uncomfortable. So yeah, it's all trust.
yeah, I think, and that's what I was saying, I guess, when I was talking about it earlier. There is that the grading and the like those
Yeah.
parts on there are harsh, but I feel like they're not too much, but they're necessary.
Yeah, and well, they do get to be too much at points, but in a way that I think like is challenging and kind of cool.
Mm.
And I think that's one thing that Aaron very specifically, no, not just Aaron, I think we all want to do it, but in our own personal ways, we want to be fucking challenging. Not in like a we want to play complicated music, but we
Yeah,
just don't want to do anything the way that things are done because we don't give a fuck and we don't need to do this band. This isn't our livelihood. It's not,
yeah,
those guys all have other bands that are their main outlets. And this is just whatever we want it to be. And it's really the freedom of that is pretty amazing.
yeah. Just that, yeah, like I said, the blind faith and just the freedom to take it wherever you want to take it
Yeah,
and not have
exactly.
to worry about some, this being like the potential of like, oh, this album's gonna sell fucking zero, or
Right.
like or whatever. You can just be like, don't care. We
No,
love
and it
it, and
really
that's the
like if
point of
people
it.
hate our record and it sells literally zero copies, it would not make one bit of fucking difference because we don't tour and we don't. I mean, we do a little bit, but like it's just
Mm.
not. None of this stuff is like that. It's just not what who we are.
Yeah, yeah,
Our priorities don't exist in that way. And I think
yeah,
everybody else's bands have to be a little bit more careful about what they do, but we can really like none of my bullshit shenanigans affect us because who fucking cares?
I think it's more entertaining, and it's actually I think it brings people more towards the band.
Yeah.
Like, love having a goof. Like, like in a lot of bands, there are goofs, but they're told to kind of like shut up and
Well, because
act
they don't know
tough
what
and
the fuck
be,
they're doing. Like
yeah,
it's funny, but in this age of like I even hate using this term of like cancel culture, you know, and
Yeah, yeah.
people getting shut down for things. It's I've had people ask me like how I've avoided getting into deep shit with the stuff that I do, and it's so fucking easy. You just don't talk like you don't make jokes based on superficial things like somebody's weight or gender or you know sexual orientation or race. If you just don't take the easy low hanging fruit of jokes about like
Yeah,
superficial shit, you have nothing to worry about. You know, if you just actually just make funny fucking jokes like and think about what you're doing and think about the
yeah,
funny stuff you do, it's so easy to avoid like really offending anybody, you know?
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, other than people that I'm related to, who that's a whole nother story, but you know, or my bandmates who get a lot of torture, but yeah.
But I think it's like, yeah, it's so fun and refreshing to see, and it's like obviously, of the band, you're the most active on social media and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
and you can kind of tell that. Like, I think, there's certain posts you'll read them and you'll be like, that's Santos. It has to be. It can't
Yeah,
be anybody else. You're not
yeah.
expecting it. I mean, the there was the I remember there was some post about starting a Kickstarter for like, I don't know, sourdough rescue or something.
Yeah.
And by far I think the funniest one I saw is like a tour diary thing, and you're wearing a Mexican hat, and you're
Oh
like
yeah.
you put yourself in the photo for the
Yeah. And I did.
with
I
the
wrote a tour
image.
diary for a tour that didn't happen. And again, like I make, you know, there are jokes in there or there are funny things that are definitely like could be that are difficult for people that are in my life, you know, because I'm like really pulling from my own life and just being like, this is fucked up, but I actually think this is funny. But again, like as long as you don't force that and insult people in things they can't
Mm,
control, then it's really easy. If people are fucked up, then yeah, you can, you know, you can call out people who are doing fucked up things and that's okay. But just like preying on superficial shit is that's how you get in trouble and it's so easy to avoid that stuff, you know.
yeah, totally. I was gonna say, I think you're very much like you you've got like the Australian trait, which we love, which is the ability to take the piss out of yourself.
Oh yeah, you have to.
And
I
like
mean,
that's like, a part and parcel of pretty much being Australian. Like being
yeah,
able to
just
take the piss out of yourself and taking the piss out of your mates is like
yeah,
so like important, and it kind of grounds you, and like no matter how, like whatever you're doing, or playing some festival or playing fancy big band names, whatever, at the end of the
right.
day your friend can still call you out on something so ridiculous,
Totally.
and you
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
you
I
got to
think
be able
that's
to have that sense of humor against you about yourself as well.
yeah, totally. I mean, if you take yourself too seriously, that's depressing.
Yeah,
That
it just
seems
gets
it's so limiting, you know. It feels like a
mm.
prison.
Yeah, and it's just like you can't. I mean, there's always that, like, if I don't laugh, I'll cry type thing, and it's like, so take those things and, yeah, just laugh at them. I laugh at shit about my own life all the time, because
Oh yeah.
because it's like it's funny. Like,
Right.
I'm like, I always say, like, it's like on my birth certificate, it says, my birth certificate address is like a trailer park. So I think it's the funniest thing ever, and so I talk about it all the time, like how funny it is, and and how, I'm grew up white trash, and like, all my aunties and uncles, all they did was either, all the aunties sat around chatting, drinking, chain smoking, drinking Coca-Cola.
Right.
I think Coca-Cola was the first drink I had at like 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
Totally.
that's just the way it was, like,
I didn't
and
have a house that didn't have wheels until I was like 22, and that's no bullshit. I'm like I exclusively lived in trailers.
it's amazing to me. I mean, it's a whole other thing in America, the trailer thing.
Oh
But
yeah.
like here, like, I still have relatives who still live in trailer parks now, but like older ones. But like, Yeah, I spent most of my early years in one and then moved into like what would be like, I don't even know what they call them over there, but it's like, commission houses, like kind of like government run, you know,
Yeah, sure.
like places. And so yeah, like yeah, we were like the trash of the trash when
Right.
I was growing up, and the shit we used to get up to and stuff. And like I just find it hilarious, but it's my story, you know what I mean? And I think it's funny to look
Yeah,
back on
it's
it and laugh, like because it's, you know, I mean, it's probably the same with you. Like you can look back and laugh at things that were probably not as funny at the time, but are hilarious now
yeah, I mean,
because of where you are now as well.
well, I mean, I think it's a, I don't know, I think it's pretty common for people who grow up poor and, have these crazy chaotic backgrounds to develop that defense mechanism of just being like, this is, I have to fucking laugh at this, otherwise you'll cry, like
Yeah,
I
exactly.
feel like that's pretty common. I've actually had that. So a couple, like last week, I wrote this post about uh, my dad, who is a real piece of shit, but he,
I
basically
love that.
paraphrasing, this story was like
Yeah.
that he brought my brother a bike and he gave me a piece of bark and was like, this is wishing bark. You spit on it and you make a wish. And like, I wrote that all out and so many people got so bummed out. And I'm like, no, this isn't a sad story. This is a funny story that my fucking dipshit dad like literally gave me tree bark as a birthday present and my brother a bike. Like it's fucking funny. And yes, it is also sad, but
But it's
mostly it's
funny. Yeah.
funny. I also did this one. I don't know if you saw this one where when I was in Japan, I fucking fell down the stairs in a Burger King and like cried in a Burger King because I was so fucking starving because I'm allergic to gluten and I couldn't find any fucking food to eat and I was like so hungry that I was all out of sorts and I finally found a Burger King and I got a burger not in a bun and I was like oh my, I was so hungry and I was like oh god this is going to be amazing and I'm in Tokyo and the where you sit is up the stairs and I fucking fell on the stairs and the tray went everywhere
Down
and the
or
Coke
up?
exploded up. I was going up the stairs and the soda exploded in my face and the burger went flying and I'm like surrounded by Japanese people. I'm like this little Mexican in Japan fucking like a cockroach on the stairs with fries and soda all over him. And they'd like, everyone's really concerned, but they don't speak English and I'm so embarrassed and they bring me a tray of food and they're like, it's okay. And I'm just like, no, I don't want the food. I'm just gonna get out of here. And they're like, no, you have to take the fucking burger. And so I finally, I get the burger and I go upstairs and I'm so hungry and it's so embarrassed. And I just started like breaking down. I have this emotional breakdown in a fucking Japanese Burger King and I was crying. And like, I got myself together after a few seconds. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm crying in a Japanese Burger King. And I took a picture of myself and I posted it and I wrote the whole story out on
Story, yeah.
Instagram and so many people were just like writing me like, are you okay? This is so awful. And I was like, no, this is funny. I'm crying in a Burger King after I fell down the stairs. Like this is fucking hilarious. But yeah, I mean a lot of people who maybe haven't had that same chaotic background where you just learn to laugh at this shit.
Oh, because you have
It's
to. It's a survival mechanism.
yeah.
When so much shit happens to you so regularly, you just like you can't do anything other than laugh because it's just so stupid. And
It's
and
yeah.
and you take things like really like the falling over. You take things
Yeah.
so serious. I mean, the amount of times that I've fallen over, I actually find falling over the funniest thing in the world. Like, and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I do it all the time.
Me
Like,
too.
and so I'm like one of those people. Like, I've done the exact what you just said, but like instead of even being on the stairs, I've just turned around and like knocked
Just falling.
someone, and everything's gone. And
Yeah.
everyone looks at you with that look, and it's the look that like kills. Like you're
Yeah.
just like, and then like,
Yeah.
and then after the initial shock, it's like, oh my God, I really wanted to eat that. I hope they're gonna give me a free one.
Right.
you know. And so like, and then everyone's waiting for you to like well up and start bawling because and you're like, no, I'm not gonna. And then like you get all your food, and you go and sit, and then as you sit, then you just go into this deep.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, totally.
And
Yeah,
I'm like, it's you gotta just do it. I've like walked across like car parks before and been like, yeah, I've had the best day ever. I'm leaving work, cool, walking to the car park. Catch you later, dudes, like to my friends. And then boom,
Just
face
eat
fucking
shit.
on, yeah, on the like asphalt. And like,
Right.
huge holes in all my stockings, and there's all these parked cars waiting to go. And they've all just watched it happen. you
Yep.
know, and then they all start opening their windows. Are you okay? I'm fine. And then you're like, you get to the car, and then you're like, and like, and you're just like, oh. But yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't know. It's funny. It's actually a thing that Caleb and I would do, and I don't think Aaron and Nate didn't have as crazy as families and childhoods as Caleb and I, but Caleb and I would sit on tour in like the van or whatever and tell stories about growing up, and like I
yeah.
could those guys would get kind of bummed and like feel sad, but I'd be laughing my fucking ass off at like Caleb's dad doing something really weird and crazy, or like I'd tell Caleb's story about my parents, and those guys are like, that's horrible, and Caleb is like dying fucking laughing, crying, where like I was gonna write this other one, but it was a when I told that story about the wishing bark, that same time period when my dad showed up in Santa Fe, he told my mom, he was like, "Hey, I want to take the boys to lunch," and my mom was like, "Oh, that's really great. Like he's such a piece of shit." She was like, "Oh my God, he wants to take them to lunch. They'll love that. This is so exciting." It was
Yeah.
like we looked forward to it all week, and Saturday came, and we were going to lunch with dad, and my mom put us in like little suits. She like dressed us up. She's like, "Dad's taking you to lunch. It's a big deal." He took us to lunch, and we got in a car we didn't like, some car he either stole or just like borrowed from a friend, some like shitty car. And he drove us, and we pulled up to our church, like the church that we attended services, and we drove behind the church, and there was a line of homeless people, and we got in line, and he totally took us to
Oh,
like a soup kitchen for lunch. And so we're there in like little adorable suits, all like combed hair, with our dad standing in line with like fucking homeless people at a soup kitchen.
oh no.
Yeah, it was pretty epic. And so we got back home, and my mom's like, oh, like so excited. She's like, "Where did dad take you for lunch?" And we're like, "Well, we went to St. John's." She's like, "You went to church?" And we're like, "No, we ate at St. John's behind with where all the people eat." And she realized, like, oh my God, this fucking dildo took them to the homeless soup kitchen for like their special lunch. And again, I want to tell that story because it's so fucking funny and ridiculous, but it's just like everybody else would just be, well, I don't know. I could totally see somebody who is maybe more angry with their parents being like, "You took me to the fucking soup kitchen for lunch and gave me bark for my birthday." But I'm just like, oh yeah, he's a fucking piece of shit. I don't. Of course he gave me bark for my birthday, and that's fucking ridiculous.
I think you can only hold on to that anger part of it for so long, and then
Oh
it
yeah,
just becomes hilarious later on in life when you think about it. I mean,
yeah,
I think about things like behaviors and stuff that like my parents did and that were totally normal to them,
right.
and like they're just not normal. Like, like there's this one where wherever we were driving, like it didn't matter if it was in like a public area or on a freeway or like right in the city, my dad would drive, like he had like a huge Statesman where all the windows went down, so there's
Right,
no gap. And
right.
he used to like when he used to use like big old man hankies, and when the hanky was completely used, this is gross, wet, whatever,
Yeah.
he would hang it out the window,
Have to dry it off.
dry it out.
That's
And sometimes
repulsive.
he would like pull, do the window up so it would like be stuck there and just blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
And it didn't even like he still does it to this
Just
day.
blowing like booger spray behind and like flapping, like making the windows foggy with booger. Oh, that's disgusting.
It's Fezza. It's so Fez. And like, yeah, it's just like things like that. And I just go, oh my God, that's just him. That's just how he's always going to be. Like that's just
Yeah.
normal to him. It's like, oh, we don't need another hanky. You don't have that many
You're
hankies.
like, I
So
got
you
the
have
one.
to
It's fine.
so you just got to air it out until you
Yeah.
can wash it. And it's like, oh man,
It's also kind of funny
what?
when you start like seeing your parents as people, you know, like when
Yeah,
you get to their age and that they were when they were doing all this crazy shit, and you're like,
yeah,
oh, like you can actually sort of remember things and be like, oh, you were struggling with this, or this was happening, or you were lonely, or I don't know. It's funny when you just like get to be an adult or get to be your parents' age and start really understanding like they were just people just trying doing the fucking best they could, you know? Not
yeah,
my dad. He
yeah.
didn't do the best he could.
He,
Or maybe that was the best he could do. I don't know. Who knows?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just it's weird, and then somehow we came come out kind of normal.
Mm,
I said kinda.
yeah.
You gotta have all these like weird quirks and stuff that like kind of make
Oh
you who
yeah.
you are, I think. So
And lots of therapy. Lots of
yeah,
therapy.
yeah. Especially the bark story makes me laugh because I remember having a massive meltdown when my grandmother got my cousin a doll and got me a
Uh-huh.
fucking a comb.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I was like, I got a fucking comb. She got a fucking $150 porcelain doll, and
Wow.
I got a comb.
Do you still bring it up to her?
No, I never brought it up. I threw it down. I threw it onto the table, started crying, and then left the room for the rest of the day. At
I threw my
Christmas,
bark in the trash that day. I was like, fuck
it's
this.
like everyone was opening their presents in like front of everyone in the lounge room, and then I was like, oh my god, like she got this doll, and then my sister got something else that was really amazing. I was like, oh yeah, and then I opened mine, and I was like, I just opened it, was like dropped it
Fucking
on the thing, and then just like stormed out, and then like went in my room for ages. I was just
Was
like,
it like a
fuck
fancy
you.
comb at least? Was it like
It
an
was like,
ornamental, beautiful ivory comb or something?
no, it was like fake silver or something, you know? It was like supposed
Yeah.
to be like, look
It's
like it
supposed
was
to be
old
fancy.
timey. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was like, I don't even give a shit. It's a comb. Like,
So you don't still have the comb, is what you're saying.
I definitely don't still have the comb. No,
Bummer.
the comb went straight to the in the cupboard. I was like, fuck you, comb. I don't want.
Fucking comb. I mean, who knows? Maybe that really was wishing bark, and I actually lost an opportunity to make some wishes. Who knows?
Maybe. Or maybe you were just the son he liked less.
That definitely was true. Wow. Ouch. What?
I know that's
There's a
what,
fire? Oh, I'm sorry. There's a fire. I gotta go. I gotta split.
I mean, that's why I got a comb. I was definitely the least favorite grandchild. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was
Maybe
like,
they just started calling. Maybe they called you the comb, and you didn't know about it. They're like, "What are we gonna get the fucking comb this year?"
just didn't matter what they got me. I hated it all the time. I think that's why it was like it's so simple. Why don't you just listen to my instructions? I want this, this, this. Nope, comb.
Comb.
Like, yeah, that shit lasts a long time, man. I'll never get anyone a fucking comb. I'll tell you that.
Well, good. That's a terrible present.
And
No matter what.
yeah, and I used to have really long hair, and I brushed it all the time, so it was really offensive.
That they
Like,
thought you would use a comb.
yeah, like I use a fancy brush, man. My hair was like really long. I was like, I don't want your stupid shit ass comb.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Fuck out
Um,
of here with your comb.
yeah, none of that shit. But yeah, like that kind of stuff. I don't know. I have memories of that shit that's like I feel like is amazing. Being growing up poor, you have so many more colorful, amazing stories.
Yeah, because you're just. I mean, maybe this was your
You gotta
experience too.
make your own fun. You gotta like do like do all that kind of shit, and like
Yeah.
everything is inventive, like that kind of thing. Like I remember I was saying to someone else, like we were mega poor, so we didn't really, we got like the no name Barbies, the shit ones that
Right.
cost like nothing from the $2 shop or whatever. And I used to walk around with like a bag that you got from I don't know what you call them over there. Like we call them op shops here. I don't know what they call them over there. Like
Op shops?
yeah, like where people dump all their old clothes and their all
Oh
old
yeah,
stuff.
like a secondhand store or like
Yeah,
a thrift
but
store.
yeah, it's like kind of
Yeah.
like yeah, like but it's supposed to be cheap so that poor
Yeah.
people can actually afford it. But now there's so many hipster shops that sell expensive,
Right. Yeah.
But back in the day, they were actually, that's where you would go. And I remember I had like a leather bag satchel, and I used to just walk around the backyard pretending I was at school. Like, what a loser. Well, I used to like sit and have conversations because I was the eldest and my sister didn't come for another 4 years. And of course, then she was like with my mum, young and that. So it was probably another
Right.
four. So it was probably until I was about 8,
Yeah.
where I would just be hanging by myself. So I just like constantly talk to myself and play, like, so I'd be like, I'm going to class and doing these things and,
Right.
you know, and yeah, one time, like for fun in summer, I remember my dad got like this bag. Um, they're like a recycling bag that like huge plants back
Right.
then. They used to collect cans, for
Uh-huh.
money, and they put them in these huge ass bags, which are like taller than a human. And you put them all in there, and they go get to this place, and you get 5 cents per can or whatever.
Ooh,
And
that's not bad.
yeah, that was back then. And yeah, and so what my dad would do was like me and my sister would sit in it, the bag, and then he would fill it with
Totally
water.
dangerous, sitting in a
Yeah,
plastic
yeah,
bag, kids in
yeah,
a
yeah,
plastic bag.
yeah. He would fill it with water, like, and it was like a game, like we were fish in a bag.
What? This is
So
this
he
is
so he would hold the bag up, and
Oh,
we'd
I
be
get
sit
it. It's
and we'd be
horrific.
sitting in. It was the best fun ever.
But not like
Like,
water up to your head, right?
no, water up to like, your chest. Yeah.
Oh
And so
my God.
you could sit in the bottom and like play all around. But I mean, this is dedication, Like my dad held that bag for like at least an hour while we played while we
Played fish in
played
a
in
bag.
there. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
also a huge waste of water. That's
Oh yeah. But I mean, this is Australia. We just got so much land. Back then it was like there was no water restrictions. People had fucking, you used to have sprinkles on all the time and hoses, and
right.
like you set up slip and slides
Right,
in
of
your
course.
backyard on the tar on the, what do you call it? We just use the like plastic tar stuff that you'd use to tie over stuff on the car, like
Right.
like so
Like just like
everything.
tarps.
Yeah, yeah, and you just like stick them together, and then like you go flying with the hose down on the
We used to
top.
get just a roll of trash bags and like roll them out on the lawn and just hose them down and use them as a
Yeah,
slip and slide. Yeah, it's
yeah, and then you
terrible,
just and
terrible
then you
idea.
just put a little bit of like bubble stuff or detergent or something on
Right.
there, and it's like,
Totally.
woo! I mean, those were the way. I didn't grow up in Queensland, no, but I did grow up in a very, very small town, on the border of Victoria and New South Wales. Yeah, and we had these amazing sand hills, and yeah, so you get like a big cardboard box, or sometimes like there would be leftover bonnets from cars, and you would like sit on them and you'd go surfing
Like
down the
down the dunes.
dunes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
So we
amazing.
had amazing like fun things like that. And then
Yeah,
like I
we had
remember
like a
my
whole group of like feral trailer park kids, because in the States, I mean, maybe it was like this in Australia too, but like trailer parks are just, poor, kind of fucked up people and, just trying to get by. So usually there wasn't a lot of parenting going on. So all the
no,
kids in the trailer park could just do whatever the fuck. Like we were just like a roaming pack of
yeah,
animals that just
yeah,
nobody gave a shit what we were doing. And the
yeah.
trailer park was right behind a drive-in movie theater, and there was like we called it an arroyo, but it's just basically a ditch, like a dried out irrigation ditch behind the drive-in movie theater. And the drive-in had if the speaker was broken that you like clip to your window, you could tune in on your radio to the movie.
Oh yeah,
So we
yeah.
would just get a boom box with batteries. We tune into the radio station and we just go sit in the ditch and watch movies
Watch
at
the
the
movies.
drive-in. And like
Oh, that's so
we were
cool.
just, yeah, it was like, 10, 12, 15 just rabid little kids just sitting in a ditch with no parents, just like watching, fucking Batman. It was amazing. It was great. And then
Yeah.
we'd like we'd take slingshots and break bottles and find a dirty magazine every once in a while. And, just
Everyone
like,
loved to break bottles, didn't they?
oh, breaking bottles was like the biggest joy of my childhood. Nothing better than, I can't wait to take my daughter out and just break some bottles with her.
Break some bottles. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think we ever really broke bottles. It wasn't really a thing. Yeah.
Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do fish in a bag with my daughter tomorrow. I mean,
It was fucking fun. I'm telling you, it was a good
I feel
time.
like somebody would call Child Protective Services on me though if I'm like in my front yard putting my 2 year, 3 year old in a
We did
fucking
it in the
plastic bag.
backyard at least. Well, I mean,
Okay,
the
yeah,
bag is so huge that, like, you can barely tell. And then once you fill the water up and the kids are in there, it looks really fun. And you can
it's
see,
basically a
and you
swimming
can,
pool.
and you can see what's happening. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's like another time my dad got like some old, the old car lots,
yeah.
like where, shit abandoned cars are. I remember my dad got some mate to bring back a combi that had no engine in it or
What's a
anything.
combi?
Like a van, like
Okay.
a hippie van,
Yeah, or like
like
a yeah. Okay.
Scooby Doo, like a Scooby Doo van.
I see. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So we call them combis over here, and so he got like an old one from one of those that was completely dilapidated and had no insides, and then had like some dude he knew bring it to our house and just put it in the backyard. And that was my new thing. It was like, this is your new like toy for the next however many months. It's
Whoa,
like,
your dad brought a burnt out fucking van as a playhouse and just parked it in the backyard? That's
yeah.
amazing.
So it was like you go inside. It was my Scooby van. And so I would go inside and like the front was missing, like it was a big hole.
Right.
But it's because all the engine and everything was gone. But like, yeah, that was my like little Scooby van. So I could play out there in that.
Did it get
Yeah.
infested with like creatures though?
No, I didn't actually. But then eventually I kind of got over it because I was like, then I started to get like, I think there's gonna be spiders in there. Like it started
Yeah,
to get a bit
definitely.
dusty, bit dusty.
And terrifying fucking killer Australian spiders.
Yeah. So I yeah, eventually grew out of that one. But then it was like, okay, well, I'm gonna get like an old like Tirana. I don't know if you had them in America. It was
Hmm.
like an old Tirana, which is like this really, it's as white trash as you can get in terms of like a shitty little car. And
Yeah.
he tuned, I don't know how you do this, but anyway, he did it. You tune down the car so it couldn't go any more than like 20, I think it was like 20, 30, 40 Ks, which is like,
Yeah.
and then we got our friend, he asked our friend who has a big like property at the back of his house that like has sort of like a track on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
if we could just drive on it. So yeah, me and my sister would just sit in this car and do like just do burnout laps around. But we
How old were
couldn't.
you?
We would have been 12. I would have been 12 then maybe.
Wow, that's amazing.
And we used to do burnouts like around this thing, but we couldn't go any faster than yeah. It was something like 30 or 40 k's. We couldn't go any
That's
faster. It
that's
like
amazing.
and yeah, we just drive around and around in circles. And it was
Yeah,
like
your dad sounds fucking cool, putting you in a bag, giving you a burnt out
he
van as
was
a
super
playhouse.
like he was super imaginative. Like yeah,
Yeah.
because we were so poor. Like and he was always trying to come up with cool ideas for things to do. So that
Yeah, I mean
we
that's better than just like parking you in front of the television, right?
yeah, yeah, definitely. And I mean like we did all sorts of like we did the TV stuff as well, of course, but like it was always together. Like me and my dad watched X Files together. We watched like we had shows we watched together.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like me and my dad and and usually my sister and my mum reluctantly would like watch Star Wars almost every Sunday. We'd watch one of the Star Wars original films
Wow.
and
That's
have
pretty
like
cool.
have a dinner, like have lunch, a big roast lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so there's like good parts of it, and then there's the really shitty parts, but there's lots of good parts, like
Right.
where you're
It
like,
was
yeah,
just it was all just TV by my I had a television in my room and I just like I literally just stayed in my room by myself watching television. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I did when my dad wasn't around. When my dad wasn't
Yeah.
around, I was like listening to music on huge headphones, like sitting
Right.
right in front of it, or I'd be reading. And then my
Right.
dad got me a Pee 50.
Oh, like
Um,
a little like a moped? Cool.
motorbike, yeah, little motorbike. Like, so yeah, I had that, and so then I had the little Pee 50, and then I got a three-wheeler motorbike, and then a four-wheeler motorbike,
Wow.
and
Oh,
then
you
I
were
so
trashy. Yeah.
yeah, so then I
Motorsports.
So then I just started like cruising around and doing burnouts and shit. And like, yeah, and then putting my dog on the bike with me and yeah.
Did the dog ever get to play fish in a bag? Because I can
No,
imagine the
he
dog
wasn't
not being
around.
stoked about that.
He wasn't around then,
Yeah,
thankfully.
that's good.
No. But yeah, but then there's like parts where we lived on a farm. Like I can, and we had the biggest egg in the in the county or whatever the fuck.
That is
And
a
I
weird
the
brag.
yeah, and I was poor me is on the front of a newspaper holding a regular egg and our giant egg.
Your claim
I'm
to fame is the biggest egg in the county? Wow, that's
yeah,
impressive.
it's pretty fucking retarded. But anyway,
I'm surprised you don't have more Instagram followers now that I know you have the biggest egg in the county. I mean,
I
that's
wish
pretty
I had that.
huge.
I wish I had that like that piece of paper with that written there because it was
Yeah,
like so embarrassing. It's probably one of the most embarrassing moments of my life.
that's
Like me
amazing.
and my massive egg.
Massive egg.
Yeah. Which I did nothing to do. Like it's not me. The chicken should have been on the front.
Right.
Like,
Did you guys
because
eat the egg eventually?
I think we did. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we did. We didn't throw shit out. You know, when you're poor, you don't really throw shit out.
Yeah, I could see you guys like really hanging on to the societal clout of that egg though, and not wanting to crack it. And then by
I
the
think for
time,
a little while we did, and then eventually it was like we've got to crack the egg. But it was
yeah,
from a regular chicken, so it was like a big deal.
poor chicken. I mean, that must have not felt great laying the
No, not at
biggest egg in the
all.
county.
No. I mean,
Yeah,
I
the
don't
chicken
even
is seeing
know
you on the paper, and the chicken's just like, "Fuck you." I can't.
that bitch. I'm the
I
one who
couldn't
pushed
sit
that
down
thing
for a
out.
week.
Yeah, it's stuff like that. Like yeah, and like we had like the burnout Tirana. We had another one. There was like a driven one, which was my first car when I first started driving. And like, I mean, I think only most poor people can relate to this, but going out on the weekend, like on a Sunday or something,
Yeah.
and driving to the tip.
What's the
I don't know
oh,
if
the
you
dump. Yeah, the dump. You guys call it
dump.
the tip. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
We used
Loved
to
going to
drive
the dump.
we used to
Fucking
drive
loved.
to
I would go to the dump right now if there was a dump in New York that I could go to. I loved it.
every pretty much like every couple of Sundays you drive out to the tip and park the car, the doors would be open and we'd be cranking like I don't know, it'd be like I don't know, Rolling Stones Paint It Black or like Bruce Springsteen or something. And like you'd be at the tip like, yeah, looking for good shit. And then you just see my dad in the horizon picking stuff up like it's gold.
That's amazing.
I mean,
Wait, this
yeah.
guy, Spooky Doug, I guess, is from New Mexico. Yeah, we did the same thing. We'd like go to the dump and just like,
Yeah.
unload all our shit, but then go
Yeah, and then get
rooting
other
through
stuff.
everybody else's shit. Yeah. And you'd always end up with like, kind of an old fucked up like mini fridge or like, yeah, I don't know, what just like a bowling ball or anything that you just
I
got
think we
stoked
got a
about.
Nintendo. I think we got a Nintendo.
Whoa,
One
that's a
that
score.
was like a score, yeah. I was like, what the fuck, Nintendo? And then that became the obsession of the house for a while. It was like
Yeah, we were
it,
we were pretty Nintendo
it
obsessed
was
too.
like it was like me and my dad to the death on Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, this guy, Farmington represent. Interestingly, I went to Farmington quite a bit. There was a correctional facility for men in Farmington that my uncle was in, and we spent most holidays at the prison in
Visiting?
Farmington. Yeah,
Oh
yeah, that's
wow. What is that like? That's such a weird I mean we obviously we have prisons and stuff here, but um it's such seems like such a common thing, like over there, like having relatives in incarceration and
oh yeah,
going and
it's
visiting them and stuff. Like here, it's not so much, I guess, a talked about thing or even something that
which
people
is
go
interesting
to.
because I feel like Australia has the reputation of being like a prison continent, right? I mean,
Well, we were all, yeah. Well, I mean,
but it's just
we're
funny that
all.
you're like prison, Australia. Pff, we don't have that here. I'm like,
No, we're
isn't
like
Australia a prison?
well, kind of, yeah, yeah. So England ran out of space in their
Right.
prisons. And so they decided to send, when they found this land, we'll send all of these prisoners there to work the land and to build it into villages and whatever. So
Right.
then they sent all of these people, but they're all different types of convicts. So like rapists, murderers, I stole a loaf of bread, I didn't pay
Right.
my taxes, like, or whatever. So it's such a big varied. So yeah, technically, yes, we all came from prison prisoners.
Right.
But in
But
terms
as
of
far as
like,
like there's not like a big systematic prison problem like we have here. I mean,
yeah,
it's money. It's a huge industry here, and so, every government has played a huge part in just making laws that put people into prison so that private prisons can make money. It's really fucked up. But I mean, in my experience, I had, most of my uncles were in prison. My dad was in prison on and off, and so it's another one of those weird poor people thing where you don't realize. I didn't know until I was probably 10 or 11 that everybody didn't go to prison on 4th of
yeah,
July. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh, 4th of July, go to prison. And they're like, big, that's family day. So I have photos of me, like there's this one photo I have that is like I'm really excited to break a piñata in prison, and it's like there's fucking prison towers and guards, and then there's this like
do you
sad
still have
donkey
that?
piñata. I do. It's somewhere. I have to find it.
You have to find it, please.
I
I
know
want to see
it's,
and post it.
but like that was my life, just like going and hanging out in prison. Like my grandma and my mom would hang out with my uncle. I'd hang out with them too. But then there was all just like the trailer parks. There was all these like feral prison
All the
kids,
kids,
that
yeah,
we thought it was awesome going to prison to visit because there were snack machines, so you'd get candy, and then there was
yeah,
all these fucked up kids, and you'd just like play and be rowdy, and I don't know, it's just what you did. But yeah, it just seemed totally normal to me growing up. But
yeah.
it's dark and sad, and I don't know.
It's kind of yeah. It's a weird yeah. Like we didn't have so much as like all of our prisons that we have are mostly out
Yeah,
far away now. And like yeah, it's not something that gets talked about a lot. I don't think over here is what's
yeah,
going on in prisons, and majority of them are still government run, I believe, but could be wrong.
yeah.
Um, but I know it's not as big a thing. And there's like different ones and all different sectors, and they're broken up and they're all over the place. So it's not something where you can be like, oh, we've got a San Quentin, like
Right.
over here or like whatever. Like we
Oh,
have like
in New Mexico, there's many. I mean, it's not even a kind of poor sort of not exciting state like New Mexico. There's so many prisons. Every county has a few. The Santa Fe
yeah,
prison is one of the most violent in the country. It's
yeah.
crazy.
'Cause
Yeah, prisons are huge industry.
yeah, because I was reading actually like a couple of days ago about how much stuff, like how many brands stuff is made by prison inmates. And I was
Yeah,
actually like fucking shocked by the
yeah.
list of how
We've got
much it is.
so many things wrong here. It's
Like
fucking
I used to
crazy.
think it was just like number plates and stuff, but it's not. It's like full
Oh
on
no.
shit you buy at the shop for loads of money.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's fucking bizarre. And
Yeah.
I yeah, it's depressing, and none of those relatives are really around, but like my uncle, the one that was like in prison almost my entire childhood, that we would visit a lot. I loved him. He's a great guy, but he went to
Mm.
prison for 13 years for, again, with my dad, writing forged checks.
Forged checks, yeah.
Like 13 years for forged checks. But
Checks.
at the time, like, it's, of course, we couldn't afford a lawyer or anything, and it was just that seemed normal to us. But now in retrospect, as a adult, I'm just like, holy shit, like going to prison for 13 years for forging checks
Forged
seems,
checks is pretty
it's,
nuts.
yeah. And like that's, his life was completely, he was completely, the system ruined him, and he never
Yeah.
was able to then like
Come back out of it.
assimilate into normal life. And he actually disappeared right after he got out of prison, and we never saw him again. But like in
Mm.
a way that he was most likely killed and just couldn't handle being out. And I think
Yeah.
that story is a lot more
Got
common than
himself.
somebody coming out of prison and like being reformed, or the system working in any way. It's the criminal justice system in the States is so fucking bonkers.
It just seems like a revolving door, really.
Yeah,
And there's no,
yeah, and
there's
it seems like maybe I don't know. It's kind of fascinating what's going on with COVID and prisons and how they're sort of just, you know, communing or what is the I'm forgetting the word. Anyway, they're letting people out because who are at high risk, and I don't know. I feel like it's shining a little bit of light on how fucked up the prison system is here, and
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
that'll change. But